So I'm thinking to myself, I'm already learning Spanish. Can I really take on another language in order to teach it to my daughter? So later that night, when we're putting her to bed, I ask her, "Are you serious about learning Japanese?" And she says, "Yeah." I tell her it's a lot of hard work. You're really going to have to struggle through some stuff and do Japanese even when you don't feel like it. You think you can do that? She says, "Yeah." And then I said to her, "What if I learn Japanese too?" And she got this big old smile on her face, and that just sealed the deal right there. I've had an interest in learning a language for quite a while. I remember back in high school not being able to wait for the ability to have an elective. I think it was like, might have been my freshman year. And I remember thinking Spanish looks cool. So I decided to take Spanish. I got like a B or something. Learned very basic stuff. Got a D the following year. Not able to speak much. My name is, the alphabet, pronunciation, very basic stuff. I learned more when working with Mexicans and other Spanish speaking people in fast food joints. Um, Mostly Mexicans, though. There's this one guy who didn't speak a lick of English, but we had to communicate somehow. So I learned some, fast food lingo. Fast forward to like my late 20s, and I decided, hey, I want to give it a try again. So did Duolingo for a few months. You know, it got boring quick, and then I went back to it a couple times, but it kept being boring for me. And I really didn't feel like I was learning much. I was reviewing quite a bit of stuff I already knew, but which was helpful in hindsight. Yet even more years later, not too long ago actually, maybe about a year ago, I realized that my work offered a free Spanish class, and so I was like, "Hey, I'll look into this." And I signed up for it, and it was just an app. It was just Busu. But that had got me real excited. I didn't find out it was Busu till after I'd signed up. So between signing up and realizing it's just an app, I got pretty excited, and I looked up how to learn Spanish, and I found all kinds of stuff. Immersion looked very enticing to me. I mean, a way to lazily learn a language just by enjoying content. If you don't know what immersion is, there's plenty of videos out there about it. So either way, I figure this is my real chance. I'm going to do something different, actually live and breathe the language to a certain extent. And I paid for Rocket Spanish, another app, and now I own it for life because it was recommended by a bunch of YouTubers. Um, Maybe I'll make a video about all the language learning YouTubers I watch. But I really got into it. I was listening to a lot of Spanish, even though I didn't understand much. Slowly but surely, some more words were popping out, and I felt like some of the grammar was sticking. And I currently work with uh, Mexicans, Spanish speaking people. There's one guy in particular I work with side by side, so I ask him questions all the time, and yeah, it seems like some stuff is actually sticking. So I'm starting to think this immersion thing works. But I also know, like, I can learn stuff on my own, and that'll help me with my immersion. So fast forward just a little further, a couple of months, and I'm immersing, and it falls off, and it's getting boring, and I'm trying to immerse some more. My daughter all of a sudden starts watching Japanese stuff and listening to Japanese. She just randomly says to me one day, "I'm learning Japanese." And she was all proud that she'd learned a couple of, I believe it was kanji. She called them characters. I'm not sure if it was hiragana, katakana, or kanji, but she learned a few characters on her own. And it got me thinking. Pretty much learned the Spanish stuff because it's what was available at school. It's pragmatic. I'm in America, so Spanish is basically the second language here. And yeah, it does interest me. The culture interests me. There's the history interests me, of South America specifically because I live in America and we've had a pretty huge influence on their history, to say the least. So yeah, there are many reasons why I want to learn Spanish and why I'm going to continue learning Spanish. But she tells me this and it's got me thinking maybe I could help her learn some Japanese. So one day, my daughter is gloating about how she's learned a few Japanese characters and how she wants to learn Japanese. And it's got me thinking, can I learn Japanese and Spanish at the same time while also teaching Japanese to my daughter? And I'm like, yeah, I think I can. And the fact she wants to learn it might be my motivation. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm already learning Spanish. Can I really take on another language in order to teach it to my daughter? So later that night, when we're putting her to bed, I ask her, are you serious about learning Japanese? And she says, yeah. I tell her it's a lot of hard work. You're really going to have to struggle through some stuff and do Japanese even when you don't feel like it. You think you can do that? She says, yeah. And then I said to her, what if I learn Japanese too? And she got this big old smile on her face, and that just sealed the deal right there. Anyways, I figure since I've got the ADHD and the Spanish keeps getting boring no matter how I study it, I figure the Japanese will help encourage me to learn the Spanish. Not to mention, I've heard that if you learn a harder language, it makes the easier language a little easier to learn. So we'll see if that's true or not. But it's the way I figure it since I'm at two different stages. I'm probably more at immersion stage with the Spanish, whereas with the Japanese, I have to learn everything from scratch. So I'm going to have to learn hiragana and katakana. I'm going to have to learn some kanji at least, or some vocab. From the way I hear it, it's better to learn the vocab than the kanji. And I'm going to have to learn it faster than Kira does, so that I can teach Kira what she needs to know. So how do I propose to do this? I mean, really, you're going to keep learning a language you barely know, take on a new language, and teach it to your daughter? Yeah, crazy, I know. But it doesn't seem that complicated, just hard, difficult. So basically, I'm going to keep immersing in my Spanish. I'm going to learn katakana, hiragana, basic vocab. I'm going to teach those things to my daughter. And in the meantime, I'm going to encourage her to watch and listen to Japanese things. She already seems like she has been doing at least some music, and I know that's not the greatest immersion, but it's better than nothing. And she also has been watching some streaming, some gamer streaming, Roblox streaming. I am going to find some anime um, and some streaming that I like. I'm going to find some beginner immersion stuff. I'm going to encourage her to listen to some beginner immersion stuff. And if you don't know what immersion is, there's plenty of videos out there to talk about it. And so that's basically it. We're going to take it from there. And as far as the Spanish goes, yeah, I'm just going to keep immersing. I'm going to immerse in some easier stuff, some harder stuff. I have found some AI. I'll get into that in a later video where I'm going to try conversing with. I don't believe in all that don't talk until you're ready stuff. I think what they mean with that is don't talk, like don't try to talk with a native as if you're having a normal conversation. I'm definitely going to talk to AI or talk to myself and try and get the pronunciation right and stuff. I just think it's too much pressure to try to talk to a native because then you're trying to think of what to say and how to say it rather than just having a conversation. Whereas with AI or talking to yourself, you got time for that. There's less pressure. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to make up some sentences that I need for work or I need for specific types of conversation, practice those, and just keep listening. Really, the whole idea is to not take any of it too seriously. I mean, as far as putting pressure on myself, but I do need to take it seriously as far as I need to just keep doing it every day. And we're not trying to get anywhere any type of fast. If my daughter is at least somewhat conversational in it by the time she's an adult, she's 8 now, so 10 years to get her somewhat conversational in Japanese. My Spanish, I'm in no hurry to be fluent immediately. Obviously, the sooner the better. But we're going to take things nice and slow and low anxiety. Now, that doesn't mean we're not going to be working hard, and that doesn't mean we're not going to be working every day. It just means we're not going to be putting pressure on ourselves. We're not fighting anyone. We're not like in a rush. We're not trying to impress people or anything. We're just trying to learn the language. And if we can speak it someday, that's our ultimate goal. And for now, our goal is to learn hiragana and katakana. My goal is to come up with some sentences I can actually use as far as Spanish goes. So with that being said, I'll be keeping y'all posted. I will let you know what her little lessons are that I'm teaching her, and I'll let you know where I am in my journey. Thanks for watching.